Good day. It's this Wednesday, the 7th day of May 2025. This is Real True Education, not fake news. And here is the migration meeting in Carrickmacross last night, the 6th of May. Now, I didn't get to the big march in Dublin, and I didn't get to the march in Carrick recently, in Carrickmacross, but I went over last night. I only heard about it at 10 to 8. Nobody told me about it. I only heard about it at 10 to 8. John Wilson was at the one in Carrick, and he did a good job there. So anyway, I went over last night, and it was in a small hall in the Shirley Arms. About 280 or 300 people there, and we had to stand outside. We couldn't really hear what was going on. And the problem with that for hotels is that they get nothing out of it. I don't know, they paid on, but nobody was drinking coffee, nobody was having a drink because you have to drive home, and they don't make much out of it, so they have to keep the bar running at the same time. So anyway, it was a bit cramped. But anyway, we heard enough. Now, when I got in, I discovered that the meeting was called by Matt Carthy, assisted by Noel Keelan, a councillor, and Matt's brother, who's a councillor, and there's another O'Hanlon fella there who's one of the Fianna Fáil O'Hanlons, Rory O'Hanlon's crowd, I understand, and they have it all wrapped up over there. Now, that's all right. It's Carthy called the meeting, I think. It was a Sinn Fein event as far as I could see. And last November, I ran for election. I got a good enough votes. Between the whole lot of us, we got about 3,000. I got about 1,500 votes. And one of my helpers broke a leg. He was off. He suffered pain. And I injured my nail, shutting a van that I wasn't used to. And I lost my nail. So we suffered a bit of pain as a result. And the people, while a lot of them did vote for us, and at least 25 people at the meeting voted for me. At least 25. But there were 300 there who didn't. They voted for Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and Sinn Fein. That's who they voted for. Matt Carthy topped the poll there. And will again, Fianna Fáil 2, Fine Gael 1 and Sinn Fein 2 at the next election as well. That's how pessimistic we are. We see across the water where Reform UK got a good result, and they seem to be have a bit of momentum behind them. And the attitude of the Sinn Feiners is Nigel Farage is an effing you know what, a dirty egot, a tramp, a this, that and the other. So he's promising to send the migrants home. So what do you expect Sinn Fein to do? Do you think they're going to send them home? The same as Farage. They'll run to here when he puts them out, and Sinn Féin's not going to do anything. Now, I have the unenviable, is that the way of putting, experience of bringing the doctor to a dead soldier and a dead guard shot by the IRA in Ballinamore, and that guard was from Carrickmacross. The other soldier was from Longford. So I've seen it, and I have to live with that, and it's not a nice memory to do. So I saw the handiwork of the IRA, and they did that for money, M-O-N-E-Y, not for any other reason. So anyway, we can't live in the past. Fianna Fáil and Sinn Féin, Fine Gael, Michael Collins was out shooting, and De Valera fired a few shots as well. So that's what they say to you. We're not going to bother too much about it. I can't change any of that. Now, the point about Matt Carthy is I'm involved in the windmill pylon campaign as well, which are not assessed, and I notice that while his party is full square behind it, he goes and he laments to the people trying to keep their vote. And this is the same that's happening. Matt Carthy and Noel Keelan mightn't like it as much, but Matt Carthy, Pauline Tully, she's a senator, and Cathy Bennett are full scale behind the migration coming into Ireland. And this is the proof. This is the proof here. This is Declan Kearney, right? So, a multiracial, multicultural Ireland is our ambition. Declan Kearney, okay? And this is from Unpublic. And it's dated in, it says 2024 issue, although the article is dated 2021. I'm not too sure how that is. There is the 2024 thing there at the top. I don't know, can you see it? You can Google it there yourself. So, they're also quoting a woman called Inez McCormick, and she was a trade unionist, and there's a bit of talk about her. I never heard of her before. This statement is signed by Declan Kearney. Isn't he a national organiser for them? The internet's not too good here. He's high up in it anyway, and he's on Twitter. So this is what he says. Sinn Féin is absolutely committed to helping achieve that ambition through progressive public policy and legislation, a rights-based, multiracial, multicultural Ireland, signed Declan Kearney. And that is all these bios shipped in here, probably out of prisons all over Africa and Asia, with no test or no check whatsoever. And he says again, and I'll read it, a multiracial, multicultural Ireland is our ambition, Declan Kearney. Now what Matt Carthy is at is, he's fully behind this. But he goes to these things to provide a shoulder to cry on. And the big buzzword at the meeting was, from Noel Keelan and from Matt Carthy, we're better off pulling together. Pulling what together? That means, what he meant by that was, we're better keep voting for Sinn Fein. We shouldn't fall out among ourselves. It makes no difference to the people of Carrickmacross whether they fall out or not. This is going to be rammed through. And if Fianna Gael and Fianna Fáil are put out and there's a coalition, they're going to ram it. Sinn Fein are going to ram it in as well. Now, they're quoting this Eisen McCormick one about dispossessed and poverty. We're not a poor country at all. We were going grand if we had to keep our population, but now they want to bring in the whole world. And Sinn Féin needs the poor, Africans, migrants and everything because they need their vote. They're hoping to get their vote. Kevin Keelan was at it 30 years ago. Now, it says here, so it follows that racial equality in the north of Ireland will not be achieved unless those being subjected to racist attitudes and behaviour are involved in the process to bring such change about. In other words, you shut your mouth. They are trying to use the sectarian bitterness that was in the north, which should be fixed and helped to be fixed and to break it down. They're trying to use it as an excuse to bring in millions of migrants. So they'll vote for them. And they need the poor because Sinn Féin is a socialist party and you can't have much socialism if you haven't poverty-stricken people, and the Irish people have enough. This thing about people having nothing, that's broken families, broken homes, divorces and all that's doing that, and the law that's very strange on the distribution of assets. Now, they mention an attack of arson that's burning a place in Belfast, Multicultural Association, and there have been similar in the Republic of Ireland. There is a groundswell of opposition to what these people are doing. It provoked community outrage. Well, I saw a lot of community outrage in Carrickmacross, and it wasn't to do with burning anything. Stronger race equality legislation and measures are needed in the north of Ireland. So you're going to have hate speech. You're going to have people jailed for saying the rosary by Sinn Féin. And they supported the hate speech law here until they realised there was a kickback against it. Racism in this society cannot be effectively fought if we are politically and institutionally blindfolded. The bloody cheek of them. I'm blindfolded. I can't see anything. Data gathering systems are required, so they want to have our every move monitored. That's what's happening with Europe. We need to think in terms of data against discrimination. So the people who spoke at the meeting last night and the abuse they're getting from the migrants will have their data gathered up and they'll have it all there for them, and when they go to look for a bank account they'll not get it. That's what Sinn Féin is lining up for. Coughlin's Tom and the whole damn lot of us. I want a debate on my own against any five of yous. Good work in this respect has already been done in Scotland. That's where they have where there was debated. They have already prosecuted people for saying the rosary outside abortion centres. 20% of citizens in our community experience real and absolute poverty. 1/3 of those affected are children. That is baloney. We had a good economy going here, and in the north there was enough for everyone till they landed in the half of the world on top of us. They want the Brits out and everybody else in. Precarious work and 0-hour contracts institutionalise the poverty trap. Bullshit! Bullshit! Here's his photograph here, Declan Kearney. And he's big in Sinn Fein. Nowhere in Ireland should be a cold house for anyone regardless of racial, ethnic or religious background. So take them into your house. The people there are being attacked on the street. They're being knifed, and it's only a matter of time till some unfortunate woman is raped or killed. And then there'll be a big hubbub. I'm telling you now, there is going to be several killings this year, north and south of the border. Doesn't matter to Sinn Fein. Now, nowhere in Ireland should there be a cold house for anyone regarding racial, ethnic, religious background, sexual orientation, cultural tradition or political opinion. What a load of bullshit. What a load of bullshit. How many has he in his house? I reference in his view that any discussion about challenging racism, we're all racist. The people who went to that meeting last night are labelled racist by the person who called it. Sinn Fein people. Or racism. Or inequality needs to ensure that those who are in fact marginalised, excluding and discriminated against are at the table. So he wants the whole crowd out of the Oasis. Well, there must be 500 foreigners in the Oasis. He wants them all brought in. Why didn't Matt Carthy go out and hold it in the Oasis? Why wasn't it held there? They had plenty of room. And let the Muslims come in. See what had happened. Racial equality must be integral to the vision of equality for all. Yeah, for Africa, Asia and everywhere else. And he has made it clear he wants them in. And a rights-based society envisaged by the Good Friday Agreement. The Good Friday Agreement said nothing about foreigners at all. Nothing. It was about the nationalist and the unionist people on the island. It had nothing to do with anything else. So then they have this big picture. You see this? Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. And there's the idiots there in Belfast putting it up. A man is doing 22 years for that killing. It was wrong. The law took its course and he's got prison sentence. He was a police officer. He shouldn't have been there. And he'd done the penalty, and only rightly so. So they're raving on about this here. So the thing about Sinn Fein is, they are all for this, but they go to these meetings and try to fool the people that they're the answer. Keep voting for us. Now, there's no doubt there was a woman there, a black-haired, smallish woman with a bluish jacket on her, and she spoke, and she said her son died. And I tried to get talking to her. And, you know, she spoke a bit, and then she ran out. And I was going to go after her just to find out what it was, and maybe interview her or something. And but she ran out. She was a mixture of angry and fear and desperation, the poor thing. If somebody knows her. Now, maybe I read it wrong, but I definitely heard her saying she lost her son. But I don't know what the circumstances are. Now, so anyway, there was questions asked, and there was a lot of good speakers there. Better than I do. I didn't need to speak. And I kind of did decide that I wasn't going to go over to roaring ball. There was no point in doing that. But somebody says, put up your hand, put up your hand. So I just asked a simple question. Has Matt Carthy, or how does Matt Carthy know, or has he any information that these people coming here, where they're coming from, who they are, and if they have been convicted of offences and crimes, and if they're being sent over here to clear out their prisons and to save the cost on their home country? No reply. And he's in the Dáil every week, and the people of Carrick voted for him, and he will never ask it. They're running with the hare and hunting with the hound. It's the same with the pylons, the same with the windmills. A big speech how he feels for you all and shouts down, I know what you're at. And then he goes off and he does the exact opposite. And now they're the ones that pushed this. Mary Lou McDonald pushed it. They have made it clear. They're for mass migration. They're for all this woke and Black Lives Matter and the whole thing. Get it there yourself, Google it. There it is. Jerry Adams' hero is Castro. Look at it. But the people of Carrick won't believe that. And the man coming out when I tackled him in the door, because the way I like to do is stand in front of them, get them angry and see what they have to say. Oh no, Sinn Féin's doing something. Oh, I'm telling you, they're going to do great things. And then people say to me, Val, you shouldn't criticise Sinn Féin because they're not in power. So, in other words, we have to spend 4 years of them before we realise they're worse than the crowd we put out. They're going to do what their agenda says, which is the mad, woke, LBGPQ, mass migration, renewable energy, highest electricity bills in the world, climate change nutters, net zero nutters. That's what their policy is. They admit it to me. I challenge any of them to come along and show they're not. I explained it to Darren O'Rourke in Meath, the illegality of it and how it was going to end up. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the evidence is there. If Sinn Féin gets in, they're going to bring in 10 for every one they will, and they'll pack them into your homes. And then there's women, oh, it's terrible, and I couldn't get my money out of the cash machine. We're afraid to walk down the street, and they wouldn't. When some woman turned round, he wouldn't move. He stood there. And I know a man seen one of them open his trousers and having to sit down on the street, defecating on the street. That's the reality. There's no more I can say about it. That's a fraud. Sinn Féin is a fraud. They're going to push this more and more and more. And part of their reasoning is the bitterness in the north, where some of them did have to endure excessive bigotry by unionists, extreme unionists. And they probably feel, I'll give you a dose of it. And they're bringing in all these people up there to try and sicken the unionists and let them know, well, you'll have worse. But the problem is we have to do it down in the south as well. Okay? And it's a good meeting from that point of view. Well, unless Matt Carty goes up to Mary Lou and says we have to change, what do you bet of that? 30-1? 40-1? Will you see any change of Sinn Féin's policy? You're all very simple people in Carrickmacross, which was once a lovely town. And as we were having a chat afterwards with another man, Carrickmacross was ruled by the Shirley estate. Came over from way over in Bath or somewhere in England. And horrible times with landlords and taking all the land. And they still are forcing people to pay ground rents to them. Nothing's done about it. Now, that's history. There's a small estate there now. But at least it's waned off a bit. And the minute we get a bit of freedom, look what's happening. People can't walk down the street. Any of you that think I'm wrong, have a meeting with me at it. No big deal. I'll go. But they won't. They won't. Sinn Féin are a vicious party. They were vicious when they said they were fighting for Ireland. And now that's kind of settled, they're vicious again. They're not at what the Irish people want at all. And I'd like to be told I'm wrong. You'll get Coughlin's Tom now on berate me. They didn't get a good vote in the last election because they can't be trusted. Right? Now, we might have another day on this, and that's 18 minutes. I want to say another thing. Out in the hall, Fatima from Grip Media was there, and people said, will any of you want to talk? And most people didn't want. John Wilson did say a few words, as good as I could have the day before, or whatever day he was there. And they were going to go on, and so I know I will then. So I'll bet you, say to Fatima, she said, you're a nice young lady with Grip Media. You'll not let me speak, I'll guarantee you that. And I said to some of the people there, they're not going to publish that in April. You have no, they will. You will not. So I need to put me in front of the camera. And the first thing was, why did you come over here? And I said, I want to support the people of Carrickmacross, many of them who I know well, in their campaign against this mass migration. And she asked me some other relation thing. And I said, an indication of how vicious our government is there was a Catholic woman called Asi Bibi, sentenced to death in Pakistan, and the judge asked if anyone would take her into their country, and I tried to get her into Ireland with her husband and her 2 kids. And the minute I said that, Fatima cut me off. I'm half Pakistani, and I know all about it. And I said to her, it doesn't matter what you know. I'm talking to the audience of Grip Media. I'm not talking to you. I don't care what you think. And they cut me off. Now, here's my point, and you can comment underneath. The fact that a person interviewing knew about it doesn't mean that anyone else did. I don't think they ever did any article on it. I don't think they did. But the fact that she knew about it was grounds to stop me speaking. So I'd be suspicious of Grip Media, tell you the truth. I don't trust any medium. I don't know. She's just working for them. But that's what happened. She wouldn't let me give my piece, and she wanted brief. How brief? She was hanging around for 2 hours, and she went away. I don't think she got any other interview, and she hadn't time to give me a minute, or a minute and a half. So what took her down? I'd like to hear from Grip Media. Contact me, let me hear, and I want to be interviewed on Grip Media, and I want to be able to say what I want to say, not what some girl witches wants. Okay, we'll see how that goes. So just be aware of everyone. I'm the only one that can speak it out the way it is. And can give, it was a dirty blow if I got it out. The fact is the Irish government wants all these mad fellas, convicted and everything else, totally unknown, into Ireland, and they wouldn't let a woman that was sentenced to death for refusing to deny Jesus Christ. And Grip Media wouldn't let me on it. Okay, folks, I have covered a good bit of it. Well, let's see, is there anything else? I'd say Carrick is in for a murder. And there was a man there stood up, in fairness to him. There was some good speakers. There was a man stood up there, and there was a foreigner killed in the Oasis, or died. I heard nothing about an inquest. It looks to me it was covered up. And he said the same. And there was a person killed in an alleyway somewhere in Carrickmacross, one of them, and there's no word about it. It's a massive conspiracy. Matt Carthy is a TD. He can ask a question that I can't. My own accusation to Matt Carthy is, you're only coming out to get a shoulder to cry on for people, pretending you're going to do something and making them vote for you. Like the man that I stopped in the door. Oh, he shook a stick. Oh, they'll do it. He's the man. And then you see this stuff here. Then you see their national organiser, I think he is, Declan Kearney. A multiracial, multicultural Ireland is our ambition. There it's there for you. There it's there. People of Carrick, for God's sake, cop yourselves on. Don't be so stupid as to follow these Pied Pipers that are in the government and are running with the hare and hunting with the hound. I'm up for debate. Always up for debate. It won't take me on, folks. I hope this video gets a good viewership. I don't care who I hurt. I don't care. This is a terrible thing to happen to our country. There's some things you'll never get over. I mean, I mentioned them deaths. I had a cousin killed when I was young. I was very friendly with him in an accident at work. And I miss him yet. And that vision of the guard and the soldier dead stands with me. It's up here, lying on the ground. That stands with me. And now I see my little darling country destroyed. And I see charlatans and liars trying to excuse and pretend they care. People of Carrick, you deserve what you got. You voted for them. Of the 300 people in that room, I'd say there was maybe 25 or 6 voted for somebody else, maybe 20 of them for me. Yes, definitely. But they went in and they got the paper. Let me go now. I vote. Sinn Fein. This is the way to go. I've been grunting. Oh, I'm a great howl feed of all, man. Oh, handle with the way. And they give him a big number 1. Who's Fitty Gill? We're getting light on the ground. Oh, Maxwell. Oh, we give him number 1. And they'll do it again. Hopefully, Britain will do something different. And the whole lot of them, when they get kicked out of England, will land over here. What more can I do? I suffered pain with me thumb trying to get to do something about it, and me man broke his leg. What more suffering can we go through? And spent a lot of money. And if I was up in the Dáil, I'd be up there if they let me. But at least I'd be shouting about it. I'd be doing some devilment. But the people of Cavan Monaghan said no. You said no. That's all I can say. You do your best. What more can you do? Thank you very much. Comment underneath. Come on, you Sinn Feiners. If you any is that support them, come on. I want to debate it. You're for it. 100%. 100%. Every damn one of them. And if Matt Carthy's not for it, he ain't going to do anything about it. His leader is Mary Lou McDonald. She donned a big Muslim hijab up in the north, and she's on about all these migrants and how they have to be treated so well and everything else. Full dole, full everything. And there was a man last night said that on the school bus, you don't need a ticket if you're a migrant, but if you're for the school bus, but if you're an Irish person, you have to pay. Here. Good luck. See you back. Thank you.